it was all very well. No problem.
All right, nice. And Heidi, welcome back. Heidi, how's it going?
Hello, nice to see you again. I've just come back from the coffee shop.
Nice. How was the coffee shop?
Customer was only me and later another person entered. So the place was very quiet. I had a lot of time to speak to the owner.
Nice. That's the best. I think, yeah. Yeah, those quiet days where you get to just talk to your customers or to the owner would be probably the best days. Uh, okay. And Anna Carolina, what about you? Do you have any plans for the weekend?
No, teacher. No, but probably I'm going to have a barbecue as usual, and I will study English. Um, Maybe I will download a movie from Netflix.
Nice. That sounds like it'll be fun. What about you, Kako?
Can you repeat the question, teacher, please?
Yeah, what are your plans this weekend? What do you think you're gonna do?
I intend to stay with my family, go out a little, to go shopping, to read.
Okay. Nice. All good
Thank
things.
you, teacher.
And Herman, how's it going?
Hey Joshua, it's nice to see you. I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing really well. And yeah, Herman, what are you gonna do this weekend?
This weekend, oh, I'm going to see the final of the America Cup between Chile, my country, and Argentina.
No way,
Yeah.
dude, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
am so jealous.
We need to win the cup.
Yeah,
But it's
obviously,
hard
that's so
because
sick.
Argentina is a very good team. They have Messi and many
Yeah,
other players.
yeah, yeah. It'll be a tough game. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I can't believe you're gonna go see it. That'll be so sweet. I'm jealous. Okay. Wow. I can't even get over that. Cool. You gotta tell me how it goes at the
Okay.
game. And Amp, welcome to class. Amp, how's it going?
Hi, teacher. Doing well, thank you. What about you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And Amp, what about you? Any plans for the weekend?
No, not really.
Okay. All right. What about today? What'd you do?
Well, today it was a busy day, just helping my sister and taking classes.
Okay. All right. Nice. And Heidi, oh no, sorry. Where were we? Frank. Frank. How's it going, Frank?
Doing well. Thanks.
All right, nice. And Frank, what are your plans for the weekend? What are you gonna do this weekend, Frank?
I'm gonna do a lot of funny things,
Okay.
and learning English as
All
well.
right. Nice. And okay, Frank, can you read the title and the next lines? Frank, are you there? Frank? Okay. Maybe Kako. Kako, how's it going? Can you read the title and the next lines?
Okay, teacher. Thank you. Symbols and signs. Nabokov. In today's classes, we will read a short story.
Good. Yeah. And so, just a forewarning, this story is pretty difficult and there are a lot of difficult words. So let us make sure that we ask questions. So if you don't know a word, be sure to ask a question. And let's try to start out. Kako, can you read the first paragraph?
Okay, teacher. For the fourth time in as many years, they were confronted with the problem of what birthday present to take to a young man who was incurably deranged in his mind. Desires he had none. Man-made objects were to him either hives of evil, vibrant with a malignant activity that he alone could perceive, or gross comforts for which no use could be found in his abstract world. After eliminating a number of articles that might offend him or frighten him, anything in the gadget line, for instance, was taboo. His parents chose a dainty and innocent trifle, a basket with 10 different fruit jellies in 10 little jars.
Good. Incurably deranged. Incurably deranged.
Incurably deranged.
Nice. And his parents chose.
Chose. His parents chose.
Good. Okay, and we've got some questions already. So, hives. Does anybody know what a hive is?
It's just a place for
don't.
bee. No?
Yeah. Place for bees. So a hive is like their home. So it's a beehive. And so if we're talking about a hive of evil, it's home for evil. And gadget. Anything in the gadget line. What would be the gadget line?
Gifts.
Gifts. Yeah, so they're thinking about a gift for him. A gadget is like something mechanical, and it's like a product line is the line that we're using here. So anything in the category of mechanical things.
Mm-hmm.
And dainty. Does anybody know what dainty means?
Innocent.
Innocent is a little bit off. Anybody else? Okay. Dainty is like really fragile. Fragile. So like fragile and easily breakable, like non-threatening. Yeah. And so what's happening in this first little paragraph? Does everybody understand what's happening in this first paragraph?
The word deranged, teacher.
Crazy.
What does it mean?
Deranged means, yeah, messed up or crazy. So the young man is their son, and they have to buy a present for him. But he doesn't have any desires, and he's a little bit crazy, so he takes gifts a little bit weird. He's not very comfortable with them. Ana Carolina, can you read the next paragraph?
Sure. Time of his birth, They had already been married for a long time. A score of years had elapsed, and now they were quite old. Her drab grey hair was pinned up carelessly. She wore cheap black dresses. Unlike other women of her age, such as Mrs. Saul, their next-door neighbor, whose face was all pink and mauve with paint and whose hat was a cluster of brookside flowers. She presented a naked-white countenance to the fault-finding light of spring. Her husband, who in the old country had been a fairly successful businessman, was now in New York, wholly dependent on his brother Isaac, a real American of almost 40 years standing. They seldom saw Isaac and had nicknamed him the Prince.
Good. Really good reading. Mauve. Can you repeat mauve?
Mauve.
Uh-huh.
What does mauve mean?
Like pale purple. It's very uncommon.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Elapsed.
And what was the other question?
Elapsed.
Past. Elapsed is past.
Elapsed.
So time
Elapsed.
passed. Time elapsed. Yeah. And sorry, past. Like
And
that.
sorry, pint up.
Bind up?
Like, yes, make like a pine.
Pin.
A pine tree. Pin.
So
Pin up. It make the shape like a pine tree. No.
it's like bun. So you put up with a large pin. So it's just like a big straight, I can't think of it, a stick maybe? Hold on, I'll get a picture of somebody with pinned up hair. So it looks like a bun. This is kind of what it looks like. So it would be a really messy way to put up your hair. She got it in a bun. It's pinned up. Does that make sense? Can you see that picture at all?
Like the girl in the Flintstones.
I'm not sure. It looks like that. That would be pinned up hair. Somebody with pinned up hair. Does that make sense?
Hair holded by pins, teacher.
Yeah, your hair is held up with pins.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just about it. Yeah, another one with pinned up hair. If we look at that, that's another one with pinned up hair. Okay. And based on this paragraph, AMP, are they immigrants or are they not? AMP?
They are immigrant.
Yeah. Because
They said that they in the old country he had been
yeah.
fairly successful businessman.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the old country, the brother Isaac, who's a real American of almost 40 years. Yeah, really good. Okay, and let's have AMP. Can you read this paragraph, this first paragraph?
Okay. That Friday, their son's birthday, everything went wrong. The subway train lost its live current between two stations, and for a quarter of an hour could hear nothing but the dutiful beating of their hearts and the rustling of newspapers. bus they had to take next was late and kept them waiting a long time on a street corner. And when it did come, it was crammed with garrulous high school children. It began to rain as they walked up the brown path leading to the sanitarium. There they waited again, and instead of their boy shuffling into the room, as he usually did, his poor face sullen, confused, ill-shaven, and blotched with acne. A nurse they knew and did not care for appeared at last and brightly explained that he had again attempted to take his life.
Good. The brown path leading to the sanitarium. I didn't hear you say that. It kind of skipped. Can you repeat
I
that?
said, and maybe it's choppy. Path leading to the sanitarium.
But good. Really nicely done. Your really good pronunciation. That sounded good. Okay. Any questions in that part? Okay. And hold on, Heidi, before you read the next two. I'm just gonna put the class in the chat box. It'll take a second.
I have some doubts.
Yeah. What are your questions?
Garrulous.
Garrulous.
Teacher.
Garrulous
Yes.
means talkative.
Garrulous. Okay.
Any other questions?
Mm. Yes. Sully.
Sullen.
Teacher.
It's like quiet,
Sully.
closed mouth. Sullen is quiet. Sullen, it's like quiet and sad.
Thank you.
Yeah. Heidi, can you read the next two paragraphs?
Okay, he was all right, she said, but a visit from his parents might disturb him. The place was so miserably understaffed, and things got misread or mixed up so easily that they decided not to leave their present in the office, but to bring it to him next time they came. Outside the building, she waited for her husband to open his umbrella and then took his arm. He kept clearing his throat, as he always did when he was upset. They reached the bus stop shelter on the other side of the street and closed his umbrella. A few feet away, under a swaying and dripping tree, a tiny unfledged bird was helplessly twitching in a puddle.
Awesome. Really good reading. Nice job with unfledged. Yeah, really good work. The only thing I saw was mislaid. Mislaid. Can you repeat mislaid, Heidi?
Mislaid.
Yeah, good. Really nicely done. Any questions here?
Twitching.
Twitching. Does anybody know what twitching means?
Yes, is that an involuntary movement?
Like really rapid, involuntary movement. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Any other questions?
Is it dying?
The bird, yeah, I think the bird is dying. It probably fell out of a nest. So generally, you like kind of twitch when you're dying. I would assume, I think. At least that's how I've seen in the past. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. And I mean, so there are a ton of really difficult words. Nobody else has any other questions? Unfledged, maybe? Does anybody know what unfledged means? Okay, so It means a baby bird. So your fledged, it's like a type of feather. So when those types of feathers come in, they begin to fly. And so if you don't even have those feathers, they they can't fly yet. And Kako, I think I did give you this sign. Anna Carolina, I can't see you asking for permission.
I asked.
Yeah. Okay, maybe if you ask again. But I
teacher,
can't see
I
it.
did it. Why not?
There it goes. I see it. I see it now. Okay. And any other questions here before we move on?
Teacher, I don't know a bunch of words. I'm sorry. Dripping.
Okay, don't be sorry.
Dripping. Swaying.
Okay, so dripping is when water falls from it. So it was raining, and there's still water on the tree, so the tree drips.
Swaying. Sorry.
Swaying, it's moving gently. No, don't worry. Swaying is moving gently in the wind.
Could you repeat unfledged?
Unfledged? Yeah, unfledged is without the feathers used to fly. So it's a baby bird.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm brainless today.
Okay, and good. Let's have Giulietta. Can you read the next paragraph?
During the long ride to the subway station, she and her husband did not exchange a word, and every time she glanced at his old hands, clasped and twitching, upon the handle of his umbrella, and saw their swollen veins and brown spotted skin, she felt the mounting pressure of tears. As she looked around, trying to tuck her mind onto something, it gave her a kind of soft shock, a mixture of compassion and wonder, to notice that one of the passengers, a girl with dark hair and grubby red toenails, was weeping on the shoulder of an older woman. Whom did that woman resemble? She resembled Rebecca Borisova, whose daughter had married one of the Soloveitchiks in Minsk years ago.
Good. Okay. And probably a bunch of questions here. Any questions immediately? Anything come to mind? Okay, grubby.
Grubby.
Does anybody know what a grub is? Okay, a grub is like a baby fly. So really short and kind of fat and generally really dirty is grubby, is what we think of grubby. So like a fly larva. Any other questions here? Nothing? Okay, we can go on to the next one. I'm trying to send everybody these files. Okay, and let's go to this next page. And let's have, where are we? Herman, can you read maybe the first two paragraphs?
Okay. The last time the boy had tried to do it, his method had been, in the doctor's words, a masterpiece of inventiveness. He would have succeeded had not an envious fellow patient through he was learning to fly and stopped him just in time. What he had really wanted to do was to tear a hole in his world and escape. The system of his delusions had been the subject of an elaborate paper in a scientific monthly, which the doctor at the sanitarium had given to them to read. But long before that, she and her husband had puzzled it out for themselves. Referential mania, the article had called it. In these very rare cases, the patient imagines that everything happening around him is a veiled reference to his personality and existence.
Good. Veiled. Veiled.
Veiled.
Huh? Veiled. And referential.
Referential.
Uh-huh. Good. An envious fellow patient thought.
Thought.
Yeah, an envious fellow patient.
Envious fellow patient.
Good. Gabriel, how's it going? Gabriel?
Wait,
Hey.
I doing great.
Okay. Okay, good. And Frank, can you read the next two paragraphs?
He excluded real people from the conspiracy because he considers himself to be so much more intelligent than other men. Phenomenal nature shadows him whether he goes clothes in the starry sky transmit to each other by means of slow signs. Incredibly detailed information regarding him.
Okay. Okay, let's look at conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Staring.
Staring.
Transmit.
Transmit.
Good. Okay. And good. Does anybody have any questions so far in the first half of this? Any questions? Okay. So we have so far a boy's parents who go to visit their son, who's in asylum. He's tried to kill himself, and they are not allowed to see him. They see somebody on a bus with kind of grubby toes, and then they learn, and then they kind of talk about the boy's last attempt to kill himself and his disease. So he has referential mania, so he thinks that everybody is in conspiracy against him. Not even real people, but shadows. Shadows that are supernatural. Follow him and transmit information about him. And Kako, can you read the next paragraph?
His most thoughts are discussed at nightfall in manual alphabet by darkly gesticulating trees, pebbles or stains of sunflakes form patterns representing in some awful way messages that he must intercept. Everything is a cipher, and of everything he is the theme. All around him there are spies. All around him there are spies. Some of them are detached observers, like glass surfaces and steel pools. Others, such as coats in store windows, are prejudiced witnesses. lynchers at heart, others again, running water storms, are hysterical to the point of insanity, have a distorted opinion of him, and grotesquely misinterpret his actions.
Very impressive. You did a good job. So really tough words. Gesticulating, you did a good job. Cipher, you did a great job. Detached with your ed endings, detached and prejudiced. Grotesquely misinterpret his actions. Nice job. Good work going slowly.
Thank
A
you.
lot of tough words here. I'm going to go through them really quickly. So gesticulating is like motioning, making movements. So if you gesticulate when you talk, you move your hands in order to try to get people to understand what you're saying. And he needs to catch or intercept these messages. So get in between them and something else is intercept them. Everything is a cipher. Everything is a code. It's a code pattern, and he is the theme, so everything's talking about him. And everything's watching him, glass surfaces, pools. The coats are prejudiced witnesses, so they already have a preformed opinion of him. Lynchers at heart is a little bit tricky because that's a poetic expression. So a lyncher is somebody who gangs up on somebody. So they're ganging up kind of on his heart and killing it or beating it or abusing it. And then storms and running water are all crazy, and they all have a very warped opinion of him, and they misinterpret his actions. So they don't understand it. They intensely don't understand his actions. Hopefully that makes sense really quickly. Ana Carolina, can you read the next paragraph?
Okay. He must be always on his guard and devote every minute and model of life to the decoding of the undulation of things. The very air he exhales is indexed and filtered away. If only the interest he provokes were limited to his immediate surroundings. But
But alas, it is not.
okay, thank you. But alas, it's not. With distance, the torrents of wild scandal increase in volume and volubility. The silhouettes of his blood corpus, I don't know, teacher,
Corpuscles?
corpuscles,
Corpuscles?
corpuscles, corpuscles,
Yeah, corpuscles. I'm
corp,
actually not too sure about the pronunciation of that word. I only read it.
corpuscles,
So hold on one second.
mag, magnified a million times. Flight over vast plains, and still farther away, great mountains of unbearable solidity, and high sum up, in terms of granite and groaning firs, the ultimate truth of his being.
Good. Tough.
No,
That's a really tough one. Ultimate. Ultimate.
ultimate,
Huh? Really nice job with volume and volubility. Corpuscles. Corpuscles.
corpuscles, corpuscles,
Yeah. And
small
so,
bodies,
yeah, it's like a small body. It's like almost a cell. So the undulation is like the up and down movement of things, the way things move. So he's always on guard because everything is about him. And it's not even things just close to him. So it's not just his immediate surroundings. But as things get further away from him, everything
teacher.
gets louder. Does that
Alice
make
mean, what does Alice mean? Alice,
what word? Sorry, exhales?
Alice,
Exhales?
Alas.
Alice, Alice, teacher. No, not exhales. Alice.
Alas.
Alas,
Alas,
interjection.
alas. It's an interjection, but like, alas, it's
Careful, your English is
yeah,
awesome. Alas,
yeah. So alas is the pronunciation, and it's like, oh my goodness, for shame. Um,
is
it's
it too old-fashioned?
it's kind of old-fashioned. I use alas a lot in common speech. Not many people do. I think it's a fun
I
word. It's
will.
like, ah, alas.
I will.
Yeah, it's a good one. Alas. Um, it's when you want to express like disappointment. It's an interjection. So alas.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And
may I ask,
mhm,
groaning first, teacher?
groaning firs, a groaning tree. So like a fir is a type of tree. It's like an evergreen tree. So in terms of like these immense things, like the slow movement of these mass things, and groaning is like so it's that I don't know, like spiritually moving distress. And so when trees, like really big trees, move in the wind, they can say they groan. That's that sound. Um, yeah. And so really far away things are all talking about him, and it's just really intense. And they're all kind of trying to, yeah, talk about him. It's again quite poetic. And yeah. And any other questions here really quickly before we move on? Okay. Let's go to this next one. And Amp, can you read the first paragraph?
When they emerged from the thunder and foul air of the subway, the last wrecks of the day were mixed with the street lights. She wanted to buy some fish for supper, so she handed him the basket of jelly jars, telling him to go home. Accordingly, he returned to their tenement house, walked up to the third landing, and then remembered he had given her his keys earlier in the day.
Good. I'm not sure how I moved it there. Tenement.
Tenement.
Good.
Tenement. Okay.
Uh-huh. And so they just came home, fish, and he was going to return home, but he didn't have their key, so she had the key, and she'd gone to get dinner. And the next one, Heidi.
Okay. I can't move it. Okay. In silence, she sat down on the steps, and in silence wrote them. Some 10 minutes later, she came trudging heavily up the stairs, smiling wildly and shaking her head on the deprecation of her silliness. Then entered their two-room flat, and he at once went to the mirror, drawing the corners of his mouth apart by means of his thumbs, with a horrible mask-like grimace. He removed his new, hopelessly uncomfortable dental plate. He read his Russian language newspaper while she laid the table. Still reading, he ate the pale pictures that needed two teeth. She knew his mood and was also silent.
Good. Victuals, food. Really good pronunciation of that. I can't believe you pronounced it well. Victuals. The other word that you did really, really well on was deprecation. Maybe one more time, deprecation.
Deprecation.
Yeah, deprecation. So it's like belittlement. So if you deprecate somebody, you make fun of them. So in deprecation of her silliness, it's like in belittlement of her silliness, of forgetting to give him the key, smiling wanly. Can you repeat wanly? Heidi? Wanly?
Pardon? Wanly.
Can you wanly? Yeah, so smiling wanly. And
Where?
does that make excuse me?
I can't find.
Okay, and so if we look at a wan smile, this is a really good example. This person, he's like kind of smiling, but it's not really a smile of happiness. It's more of like a kind of smile. That's a wan smile. Any other questions here? Okay.
Pale victuals.
Oh, so it's like just a uncolored food. So like a food that has no color. Because victual is food. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Let's go. Maybe. And let's have. Julieta, can you read that first paragraph?
When he had gone to bed, she remained in the living room with her pack of soiled playing cards and her old photograph albums. Across the narrow country yard, where the rain tickled in the dark against some ash cans, without windows were blandly alright, and in one of them a black-pursued man, with his hands clasped under his hat and his elbow raised. Could he seem lying supine? Supine on an untidy bed. She pulled the blind down and examined the photographs. As a baby he looked more surprised than most babies. A photograph of a German maid they had had in Leipzig, and her fat-faced fiancé, fell out of a fold-out of the album.
Okay, fiancé. Her fat-faced fiancé.
Fat-faced fiancé.
Yeah, blandly.
Blandly.
Rain tinkled.
Rain tinkled.
Good. And yeah, so pretty much she's just looking at baby pictures, and in the room next door, or across the street, in one of the windows, there's somebody lying on his back. And yeah, so talking about the baby, their baby, probably the crazy one, who's in the asylum, a little bit more surprised than most babies. Okay, Carmen, can you read the next paragraph?
She turned the pages of the book. Minsk, the Revolution, Leipzig, Berlin, Leipzig again, and a slating house front, badly out of focus. Here was the boy when he was 4 years old, in a park, shyly with a puckered forehead, looking away from an aged squirrel, as he would have from any other stranger. Here was Aunt Rosa, a fussy, angular, wild-eyed old lady who had lived in a tremulous world of bad news, bankruptcies, train accidents, and cancerous growths until the Germans put her to death, together with all the people she had worried about. The boy aged 6. That was when he drew wonderful birds with human hands and feet, and suffered from insomnia like a grown-up man.
Nice. And his cousin, now famous.
His cousin was a famous chess player.
Yeah, so all pictures. Slanting.
Slanting.
Eager.
Fussy.
Okay, And so what's happening here is she's looking at the old pictures, their old house. There's the boy, her young son, and he's already afraid of even squirrels. He's afraid of strangers. The aunt, who is kind of wild-eyed, which is kind of wild-eyed like the little boy is described as. And she lives in a trembling world, a tremulous world, a really unstable world of bad news, of bankruptcy, train accidents, all really bad things. And then she dies when the Germans put her to death with all of the people that she'd worried about. And then even the boy, when he's 6, draws these really strange birds, again with the birds, which are really recurring in this, as well as trembling. So we see those images a lot. And he suffered with insomnia, like a full-grown man. And then there's this cousin, a famous chess player. Really good reading, though, Herman. Gabriel, can you read the next paragraph?
Starting with the boy again.
Yes, the boy again.
The boy again, aged about age, already hard to understand, afraid of the wallpaper in the passage, afraid of a certain picture in a book, which merely showed and the idyllic landscape with rocks on a hillside and old cottage well hanging from the one branch of the leafless tree. Here he was at then the year they left Europe. She remembered the shame, the pitch, the humiliating difficulties of the journey, and the ugly, vicious, backward children he was with in the special school where he had been placed after they arrived in America. And then came a time in his life, coinciding with a long convalescence after
Nice.
I'm not finishing this. I'm not sure.
You did it well. Convalescence.
Convalescence after pneumonia, when those little phobias of his, which his parents had stubbornly regarded as the
Eccentricities.
of a prodigiously gifted child, hardened as it were into a dense tangle of logically interacting illusions, make them totally inaccessible to normal minds.
Good. Really difficult words here. Eccentricities. Are you there?
As in here.
Yeah, eccentricities. And pneumonia. Good. Backward. Humiliating. Pity. Idyllic.
idyllic.
Uh-huh. Good. Really nice. And prodigiously. Prodigiously.
Prodigiously.
Okay. And then, so what it's saying here is the boy, when he's 8, he's already hard to understand. He's afraid of the wallpaper in the hallway. He's afraid of a picture in a book, which was just a landscape, a really beautiful landscape with rocks on a hillside and an old cartwheel hanging from one branch of a leafless tree. So kind of an odd picture, but yeah, just a branch hanging on a tree. And then 10, when they left Europe. So she's remembering the shame, the pity, and the humiliating difficulties of the journey. So it was a really hard journey that made her feel ashamed, pitiful, and humiliated. So like people had made fun of her, and it was really bad. The really bad children he was in school with, so he was in a special school in America, and the other children in class were not very nice. They were just bad, ugly in terms of spirit, and backward in terms of uneducated. And then after he had pneumonia, which is a sickness, he was recovering, which is a convalescence, a period of recovery. Those phobias, the things he was afraid of, which his parents had regarded as just weird things of somebody who was really smart, became these logically interacting illusions which are inaccessible to their minds. They couldn't understand them, but they were logically interacting and almost impossible to unmantle. Hopefully that makes sense. I've got a couple more pages. We're close to finish too. Let's have Kako. Can you read the first paragraph?
Ending with difficulty, she retrieved some playing cards and a photograph or two that had slipped to the floor. The knave of hearts, the nine of spades, the ace of spades, the maid Elsa, and her bestial bow. He returned bestial bow. He returned in high spirits, saying in a loud voice, "I have it all figured out. We will give him the bedroom. Each of us will spend part of the night near him, and the other part of his couch. We will have the doctor see him at least twice a week. It does not matter what the prince says. He won't have much to say anyway, because it will come out cheaper."
Good. Let's look at retrieved. Can you repeat retrieved?
Retrieved.
Good. And then bestial.
Bestial.
And a bestial boo, which is
Bestial beau.
yeah, which is boyfriend. I think it's a French word that's kind of translated over. So these are all just playing cards that she's picking up. Her husband comes back. He's excited. He's in high spirits, in a good mood, and he says, "We'll give our son the bedroom. So our son will come out and he'll live with us. One of us will spend part of the night near him, and the other one will sleep on the couch. And then the doctor will come, and it doesn't matter what our uncle says, the one who's been in America, who they call the prince, who's helping them pay for everything, and he won't have much to say anyways because it will be cheaper to take the boy out of the asylum." Anna Carolina, can you read these next parts?
The telephone rang. It was an unusual hour for it to ring. He stood in the middle of the room, groping with his foot for one slipper that had come off, and childishly, childishly, teacher,
Childishly.
childishly,
Hmm?
thoughtlessly gravity at his wife. Since she knew more English than he, she always attended to the calls. Can I get... sorry. Can I speak to Charlie? A girl's, the little voice said to her now. What number do you want? No, you have the wrong number. She put the receiver down gently, and her hand went to her heart. It frightened me, she said.
Good. Childishly.
Childishly.
Toothlessly.
Toothlessly.
Gaped.
Gaped.
Good. So the phone rings. He's standing in the middle of the room. He's like got one slipper off, just like holding it, and he's like childishly, toothlessly, just like looking at his wife in surprise. And she answers the phone, and then somebody says what she says, and she's scared. The wife is scared about it. Amp, can you read the rest of this page?
Okay. He smiled a quick smile and immediately resumed his excited monologue. They would fetch him as soon as it was day. For his own protection, they would keep all the knives in a locked drawer. Even at his worst, he presented no danger to other people. The telephone rang a second time. The same toneless, anxious young voice asked for Charlie.
Good. Amp, can you read this paragraph?
Okay.
Or maybe just the first part of it.
Yeah. All this and much more she had accepted, for after all, living does mean accepting the loss of one joy after another. Not even joys in her case, mere possibilities of improvement. She thought
Really nicely done.
Okay.
Yeah, Julieta, can you read this next part?
She thought of the recurrent waves of pain that for some reason or other she and her husband had had to endure, of the invisible giant hurting her boy in some unimaginable fashion, of the incalculable amount of tenderness contained in the word, of the fate of this tenderness, which is either crushed, or washed, or transformed into madness, of neglected children humming to themselves in unswept corners, of beautiful weeds that cannot hide from the farmer.
Good.
It was
unimaginable.
Unimaginable.
Sorry.
Unimaginable.
And wasted.
Wasted.
Good. Okay. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I would like to go on with this. So there's only 2 more pages. If you guys want to read it, just finish it up. It's an interesting story. Hopefully you've liked it. It wasn't too tricky. And yeah, thanks for coming in. And hopefully you enjoy the story, or the end of the story if you read it. And feel free to ask me questions. So send me messages if you have any questions. And have a good day.
Thanks, teacher. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Doctor. Bye, guys.